the survival of the
So many
fittest.
times you were like, Dad, get a Ferrari. Why don't you get a Mercedes? When I used to drive you to school instead of the old clunker, they were like, Dad, you need to buy a better car. You're embarrassing me. It's like,
Oh, come on.
well, no, come on your butt. I even tried to take down my old Harley to school, and you were like, drop me off a block away. I'm like, get out of here. I'm driving you up front. And I also kissed you goodbye and hello in front of all your friends, which I know embarrassed you, but that was our culture.
Yeah.
Even though I'm like, if you don't kiss me on the cheek, I'm going to kiss you on the lips. And you guys were eager to kiss me on the cheeks.
Yeah.
But the other thing I also did when you were younger is you guys got into a lot of mess, and you would mimic what I did as a parent, and you would always also mimic what your mother did. And I've caught you many times putting on your mother's makeup,
Got to give it a try sometime.
putting on her clothes, right? Now, did I sit there and mock or laugh at you? I told you how pretty you were and how cute you looked, right? But did I take you over to the hospital and have your wiener cut off because you put on your mother's makeup because you might be a girl deep inside? Or did I let you make that decision when you were old enough, which you are old enough to make a decision who you were? Because I've always told you when we used to pick on you, but at that moment when you're young, a lot of parents today are right away ready to get their kids operated, let alone dress like them, which, that outfit is for a 16 or a 15-year-old or a 13-year-old, and mom is trying to wear that outfit.
I mean, who
But
do you listen to when you go into a workplace? Do you take more advice from someone who has, 30, 25, 30 years in the game, or do you pick the person that just came off an internship that's only been working there 3 months? You're going to listen to the person that has 25, 30 years in the game because they have experience and they've failed, and sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, and they have those experiences. So, it's the same with a parent. It's like, the child, yeah, they're coming into their own identity. They're trying to figure out who they are.
I still don't know who I am.
Yeah. So,
And I'm 60.
yeah. But as the child takes that journey, there's a lot of responsibility from the parent to say, okay, how do I give them that creative freedom, like we were talking about earlier, to live outside the box and create them, but at the same time, still give them those parameters to say, they didn't make the shots. They're not going home, paying the bills, calling the rules. They go home. There should be that structure. So, everything works differently for everyone. But even back to,
as a parent, I mean, when you want to be a cowboy, you were a cowboy. When you want to be a fireman, you were a fireman. When you want to be a nurse, you were a nurse. When you wanted to be a girl, you were a girl. Okay, I never stopped you. Don't lift those eyes, because you did, and your brother did the same thing. I mean, it's natural for kids to want to mimic other people, but I think as kids, we need to experience those identities, because eventually, sooner or later, we're going to know who we are, and we might think we know who we are now, because how many times have you changed your mind in many things you want to be since you were little to this point? And this point, you're still making some decisions in your life. Is it okay for a parent to act right away, or are you glad that I waited and let you, when you got older, decide, and still decide with some words of wisdom and knowledge on my part, but I let you make those decisions now? But when you were younger, you couldn't make those decisions, because by the next day it changed again. So help me a little bit about that.
Yeah, you have to put yourself in situations to know how you're going to be stretched and how you're going to respond. And if you don't, and if you're sheltered, I think a lot of homeschooling is great. But if you're not going out there and getting involved in your community and doing sports, you're not putting yourselves in those situations to
Let
understand
me tell you
what life
something.
is
If
about.
you were homeschooled, I would find another family you could transfer to. Did homeschooling, because I would go crazy. I wouldn't have wanted you as a student,
Yeah.
even though I as a student, and I still do for the
But
rest of
you had me as a student. It was like, you didn't just when I come home from school, it wasn't the real learning started. The real life conversations and connection actually happened. And that was so more well received, because going to school in my eyes was just a way for us to pass time so parents can go to work. The value behind what it could possibly do wasn't there in my eyes. It was, dang, I got to sit in this classroom. When is this? When I was entering, it's like being Italian. When you're finishing your meal and you're already thinking about the next. I would go into class and see the time on the clock before they even took attendance and figure it out. Okay, if class ends at this time, I'm going to go to the bathroom at this time, and then I'm going to go speak to this person in this office and pretend I need something for this task and homework at this time. So then I'll really only be in this class for X amount of time. So, yeah, I think there's a huge responsibility, especially the craziness the world is going through right now, with how prominent fear is from all this, news channels and social media, and how fearful people are. There's a very important responsibility that the mentors, coaches, therapists, parents, whatever you want to call them, that people of influence have to connect with people and say, this is okay. It's okay that this is who you are. This is okay. This is what you do. But let's build upon that. Let's add that love and that faith, no matter what it is, if it's religious, spiritual, whatever, however you identify that for your life. Because there's a big shift that needs to happen for people to come back together, and understand, how to love, and not how to love intimately. But when it comes to the workplace or friendships,